Hey everybody, a happy Friday evening to you. You'll have to once again excuse this rather primitive recording technique. I know you have come to expect nothing less of me than primitive recording. I hope you're doing well where you are. I send my love and good wishes and prayers out into our community. The purpose of this message is to kind of get you up to speed a little bit on some of our innovations in the old parish church worship service department, and then just to make some reflections on this amazing and challenging time that we live in. So first, as I said in the text of the email, a huge thank you to everyone who has been joining us so fortuitously as we've met outside, either in the Weston Green or in the yard of our friends Mark and Jeff, in the yard of the former Ella Norton House. The outdoor services have been a real blessing and a privilege. Annie DeLevo, Carolyn Mullett, Allison Hale, Dottie Stanley, Susan Hafner. Did I mention Annie DeLevo? Just an amazing group of musicians who brought their A game each time we met and really lifted the proceedings, allowing us all to kind of find a way to be together in spirit and in the spirit in new ways. So I'm so sorry that those of you who are not in Weston or couldn't make those services for whatever reason, because you're many miles away or because the timing didn't work, I'm so sorry you missed them. The good news and the bad news at once is that unfortunately autumn has finally really come to New England, and so we're going to be returning to Zoom. And there's lots of things that we can do with Zoom to start enhancing or continue to enhance that experience, and we'll be doing that. But it kind of is what it is, and it is a different experience of worship together. So I feel so blessed to have had these times to meet outside, to hear the voices of Susan and Annie and Dottie and the instrumentation of Carolyn and Allison, and to be able to bring my own presence to those times. So that's the gratitude portion of this, and also the news portion. We will be returning to Zoom. So the link was in the email that you got to come to this link. Unfortunately, Zoom is now making the host, which is me, admit people again. They've sort of returned to some of their former security measures, and so unfortunately, I will have to admit you when you show up for the service. But look forward to that. And so just to pivot very quickly before I say goodbye and let you go. Some reflections on what it means to be a pastor when the flock is scattered. Because that is really our experience of this time. We don't have access altogether to our sanctuary. And I haven't been able to meet with many of you who are far flung, friends of Old Parish Church who are not geographically close. I haven't seen for a long time, but even those who are close, obviously with COVID, we are taking all the precautions that we need to. So it hasn't been as easy to find the kinds of warm and important connections that we build relationships on, that we then find a way to be together in spirit. God, for me, has always been about relationship. God has been about service and love, but most importantly about relationship. And that is where I find my sense of mission and ministry. So what does it mean to be a pastor when that kind of connection really isn't present? I think one of the things it means is we carry the relationship with us inside. We carry it in our hearts. In a lot of ways, we are like the ancient Israelites who lost their temple, lost their homeland for millennia, lost their geographic central sense of place, and were kind of spat out into the wilderness and spent many, many, many years, generation upon generation, wandering. And one of the things that my good Jewish friends remind me of is that means if you take a sense of interiority into your practice as a Jew, you are bringing the experience of God, you're bringing the experience of connection, you're bringing the experience of connection to the holy inside. It doesn't reside in a temple, it doesn't reside in a place, it doesn't reside in a given piece of land or a mountain or streams. You carry it with you always. And I think in many ways, that's a perfect parallel to our experience in this COVID time when we don't have a sanctuary, we can't get together the way we have, we can get together in pods, but this sense of looking around the room, looking around the gathering, and defining our experience of God by the number of people whose faces we see and whose voices we hear. That's not our experience right now. And so as a pastor, as a minister, I'm challenged to carry my own sense of connection and foundation within. It didn't go away because we began to experience a global pandemic. Connection to God didn't become something, an experience of the past just because we can't be together. We are together in an interior way. And so my prayer for you and my hope for you is that you continue to settle into this time, holding your connections with all the things that have been important to you, that you've held dear, the values that you have built your life upon. They didn't go away because we learned about COVID. In this particular moment of uncertainty, politically, socially, and so on, ask yourself, just because we are uncertain, does that mean that we question our connection to the truth, to compassion, to generosity, to hospitality? No. We still hold those things close in our hearts. The winds of uncertainty and anxiety and fear and grief and rage that are blowing, and all the things that are happening now, all the happenings in the political and social plane amount to a tsunami of sort of a tsunami of real life. I mean, this is real stuff. But it doesn't sweep away God. It doesn't sweep away the truth. Tsunamis, hurricanes, acts of God, acts of the world, acts of nature don't mean that we don't know what's right and wrong. And in likewise, when unbelievable things happen socially and politically, when things that just cause us to beat our heads against the wall, or to turn away from the TV or the computer in disgust, those are real things too, and they don't mean that somewhere in the mix, somewhere in the narrative of uncertainty, somewhere in our absolutely total inability to now really make plans because we don't know what's coming, that somewhere in all that mix, God is not walking with us with his hand upon our hearts, her hand upon our hearts, guiding us forward. May that be an image for you that uplifts you and upholds you in the coming days and weeks. I so look forward to seeing you all again, up close and personal, at some point, but until then, keep it in your heart and let your heart shine. So to those of you who are joining us again on Zoom, it will be wonderful to see you all, and I look forward to our connection and hold dear our connection above all things. Be well. Do your good work in the world. Peace.